Well, Joe Biden's handpicked Attorney General Merrick Garland attempted to defend the indefensible in his political press conferences earlier. We learned that he personally approved, the Attorney General personally approved the search warrant on Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. Seems to me this is a politically motivated witch hunt. Joining me now to weigh in, Florida Lieutenant Governor Jeanette Nuñez. Lieutenant Governor, thank you. Thank you. Right person, right time for this story. Garland, the Attorney General, personally approves the request for a Florida judge to make that, Judge Reinhardt, to issue the search warrant. He does, and they go ahead to an American citizen. Forget the fact he's a prior president, and go and search his place. What are your thoughts on all this in your state?
Well, certainly no shocker there that he was personally involved. I think that is something we all would have expected from Attorney General Garland. And I think that it really is shocking. I think to see the erosion of what we've seen in due process, and things that could not be part of this society, this country, this great country that we live in. And so it really was disturbing to see all those FBI agents descend upon Mar-a-Lago. And this is something that they claim is a documents dispute. Certainly there are much bigger issues in America, much bigger things that they should be contending with, like, oh, by the way, Hunter Biden. But, you know, obviously it was a politically motivated stunt, and it's something that we are hopeful that once he claims that the warrant will be unsealed, that we'll be able to know a little bit more.
Lieutenant Governor of Florida, Jeanette Nuñez, tell us how the process works. Were you notified? Was the governor's office notified that this was going to happen?
No, absolutely not. I think we all learned about it, just like everyone else, on the news when the president talked about it and said that his home was being raided by the FBI. And I think we were all shocked and really wanting to learn more and understand more. And as we've had the slow drip of information, I think that, again, the process hopefully will shed some light. We need transparency in this country. I think the Biden administration has been politically motivated throughout its entire tenure, but this really doesn't start when Biden took office. They had been wanting to go after Trump since before he was elected. So again, it has been a long, gradual process of so many things that they've tried to throw at this former president. And as you said, an American citizen. So we are definitely eager to learn more, especially about the legal process and how it was undertaken.
Lieutenant Governor, what do you know about the federal magistrate, the judge in Florida who signed the warrant? What do you know about this guy, Bruce Reinhardt, I believe, Bruce Reinhardt? Other than the fact that he's wildly liberal and is donated to Obama, what does the official governor's office know about this guy?
We know absolutely nothing. I know absolutely nothing about him. Obviously, you mentioned it, someone that's liberal, someone that has had a very politically active involvement with a former president, President Obama. And so, you know, again, I think it creates this entire air of just a lot of answers that need to be answered, a lot of questions that need to be answered, rather. And I think that when you see the air of politics oozing out of every step of this process, I think it is absolutely something that the general public. I was earlier today speaking to someone that is a former political prisoner of Cuba. He came to this country, obviously, after years of spending time in jail for the mere sin of being against Fidel Castro. And so what he said is that this is reminiscent to him of what he went through in Cuba. Third world country, so many countries that have had a similar circumstance when you have political opponents and people that are in power that utilize and weaponize agencies, especially the FBI, something that I think really they need to come forward with some real information why they're being utilized for political persecution.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And this term has been used a lot in the last couple of days, Banana Republic. Guess what? This is Banana Republic stuff, folks. That's what they do in Cuba, Venezuela. Banana Republics, not America. Jeanette Nuñez, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Eric.
JP Morgan's CEO is warning that an economic hurricane is coming. Are you preparing? If you don't do anything, your 401k could be a 201k, and that is not good. So call our trusted friends at Lear Capital. For 25 years, Lear has helped investors own gold to protect against market chaos. It's a good thing. They can help you too. Get your information and up to $15,000 in bonus IRA gold. Just call this number, 800-880-4300. That's 800-880-4300.
Bye.